When I was in high school, I was looking for a wife, someone that I wanted to spend the rest of my life with, because that's all that made sense to me. I thought that if I were to date someone, why would I not date to marry that person? And I actually ended up meeting this girl who I kind of had that thought process with, and she didn't feel the same. And I was so hurt by that initially, but I'm realizing as time went on and on that it's actually better that it didn't work out. So let me explain. I'm going through high school and I get my first girlfriend. After I met this girl, I instantly was under that mindset still of like, I'm gonna marry this girl because I wanted to marry the first girl that I dated. And the more that I looked back on that and the more I reflect, I realized that's completely unrealistic, and it's actually hurting most people who think like that. And here's why. So whenever you go and you think you're going to meet the love of your life or your wife or whoever it is, the odds of you finding the perfect person on your first, second, even third, fourth, fifth try is very low. And a lot of people just end up settling because they get to a certain age where it's like, oh, it's time to marry, I'm just going to settle down and all this. See, I don't think it's good to think like that. I think it only makes sense to get married if you find a person that you are going to be truly happy with. Because I see all of these parents, the divorce rate is extremely high. My parents are divorced. And you don't want to marry somebody that you don't actually truly love. And in my opinion, when you love someone, there's no chance that you're actually going to completely split up for good. That's not how it's going to work. You can be in love with someone, but at the same time, to truly love someone, I think you're willing to go through anything for them. For example, I love my brother. I would go through anything for him, and I would never betray him. Now, I have friends, but if my friends did me wrong, I might not talk to them again. You know what I mean? So when you're looking for a girl, in my opinion, what's best to do is test the waters and figure out what you like. Because you do not want to get stuck with the rest of your life with a person that you don't truly love, that you might break up with, that you might not stick with forever. Because that, in my opinion, is a miserable life. And when you think about it, me personally, I came up from Virginia. You know, this random state. A lot of us are born in random states. I would say the only real regular ones are California, Florida, Texas, whatever. And then there's people who aren't even born in the United States, you know, all over the world. So what are the odds that the place that you're born, the random place, you could have been born anywhere in the world, what are the odds that you find the perfect girl on your first try in a random place that you don't even know? Like, it was just by chance that you were born there, you know what I mean? So anyway, to continue the story, I'm in high school, I'm dating this girl, and she was my first like true love, and I did love her, but at the same time, I don't think it would have ever worked if we got married, because people change a lot, especially as teenagers. So let's say you find a girlfriend at a young age and you decide, hey, I want to be with this girl for the rest of my life. You right now, compared to you 10 years later, is a completely different person, and that's how I feel. So I'm dating this girl, and I hadn't seen any dramatic changes with myself during our relationship, but as it continued and continued, we actually went on this break where we separated for a while, and that's when I truly found myself. Because at the beginning of all of this, I really didn't love myself. That wasn't the case. I was, I guess, just insecure. I didn't like myself. I didn't feel normal, because I'm the type of person who's really obsessed with this self-improvement stuff that I talk about to you guys, and it's the main thing that I care about. I would have never been forced to go on this journey of self-independence and self-growth, because the only reason that I actually went on this whole self-improvement arc and built hundreds of thousands, over 1 million followers on different platforms, started making close to $100,000 a month as a teenager, the only reason any of that happened is because I went through this breakup, and because I went through forced hardship. See, most people who have a privileged life, like a lot of you watching this right now, who have parents that pay for stuff, you don't have to go through too much trauma. The worst thing a lot of people go through in America is their parents being divorced, and I'm not discounting that at all, but I'm saying there's a lot bigger things out there. Like, there's kids in Africa who have no home and they can't even eat. Now, I'm not saying my problems were even close to being that bad, but I had extreme money issues, extreme family issues. I don't even talk to my parents now, and I had a lot of problems. And this breakup just added to that, because all of these things were going wrong at the same time in my life. Everything was going down. And when you have your money problems, you have girl problems, and you have family problems, those just don't mix well. But in my case, it benefited me more than anything, because if my ex-girlfriend had never broken up with me, I would not be where I am right now. It sent me down a forced spiral of self-improvement. See, as I was saying, to get more on track here, is that most people, I would say 99% of people, are not willing to force themselves to improve. It's more that they have to be forced to improve. So, for example, something bad is going to happen to you, and that's going to be the thing that catapults you into actually taking action and improving your life. And for most guys, specifically, their first girlfriend is literally that to them. And that's why I'm really suggesting to you guys that you don't want to necessarily look for your wife on the first go around, because in order to learn about yourself, you have to go through that phase. You have to see what your first heartbreak feels like, because until you experience that, like I was saying, a lot of you will never experience true hardship. That, in my opinion, will hurt you, number one, more than anything else, is your first breakup. So as you continue to grow and learn through dating girls or talking to girls, you'll figure out what you actually like. And that's the biggest issue with so many guys and my former self, because this is like me talking to my younger self, is you think that dating to marry is the perfect thing, but your mind changes so much, especially as you get older. As I'm dating this girl, we break up, and I go through a literal life-changing self-improvement arc of posting on social media. I was posting 3 to 10 times a day on a new account, and I had gained 100,000 followers per month on TikTok. I went from working at Chipotle, making less than $2,000 a month, driving a car that was broken, to making my first $10,000 month. I believe it was November of 2022. Then 2023, I made my first $20,000 month. Or I believe, it's really hard to like actually calculate the exact dates, but towards the end of 2022, beginning of 2023, I was making anywhere from $10,000 to $30,000 per month while I'm still in high school. And I was growing in every aspect of my life. I was going to the gym. Physically, I was in one of the best shapes of my life. I think I'm actually getting closer to where I was now physically, because I started working out again, and I started really focusing on self-improvement, because in order for me to give you guys this content, I have to genuinely do the things that I'm telling you, because if I don't learn. I don't have that creative insight. I mean, I need to do self-improvement things in order to give you guys the best advice. So I go through this arc of improving myself and making a lot more money and doing all this, and I actually end up getting back together with this girl. Now, this is because even through all that self-development and improvement, I didn't actually learn. I didn't learn that it wasn't going to work. I was still under the impression that I was going to marry this girl, and I don't know why that was a thing. And something that I realized is, over time, if you don't change your actions when given the same result, that's a problem. That just shows that you're not actually growing and learning. So this had shown that I actually didn't learn anything after this breakup. The only thing that happened really was I guess I improved a lot. But then after the second time, as time went on, month after month, I started realizing more and more, okay, this isn't going to work. I'm not going to marry this girl. This isn't going to happen. And towards the very end of it, I was fully aware, okay, I'm not going to marry this girl. I need time to myself, because that's when I saw the most growth, and I think I can make a life-changing difference to myself, the people around me. I mean, I just moved into this new house, and it's insane at 19, and it's all because I took this time to myself. And I'm sitting here watching all of my friends drink, party, get girlfriends, and that's just not what you want to do at this age. I think when you're young and you have the most energy, that's when you need to work on yourself the most. It's almost like an exponential graph. You have the most energy right now. Money is going to be worth the most right now, because if you have it to invest, it'll be worth more later. Everything that you're doing right now matters significantly more than when you're 50, 60, 70. So much more. It's unbelievable. So when I see all of these people, all of my friends sort of goofing off, drinking, partying, trying to get girls, I now understand why all these successful guys talk about these things. It's so cliche and boring to be like, oh, bro, you got to focus on the money, don't focus on girls. I'm realizing the meaning behind it now. It's because your time is literally worth more right now than it is going to be worth in 10 years even. So I break up with this girl for the final time. It was sort of mutual, sort of her. I don't really know how to categorize it, but we're at the end of our relationship, and we break up. And this is when I went on to full on grind mode, and I made my business literally over $100,000 in a single month when this happened. So now I'm getting the pattern recognition. Okay, every time I go through hurt, I see massive growth. And that's why I think it's important to actually date girls and go through that heartbreak. I think you need to go through your first heartbreak. It's so important. And that's also why you should not stick with one girl, because it slows you down. It slows you down to have anything attached to you that feels negative in any way. And like I was saying, because you're born in a random place, the odds of you finding that perfect girl in the first, second, even third try is very low. So what I've discovered now, and the whole consensus of this video, and this is coming from wisdom, this is a place of learning, going through the mistakes so that you don't have to. You don't necessarily want to look for a wife when you're dating. You do want, no, don't get me wrong, you want to look for a wife, but the odds of you finding her is going to be extremely low. So be prepared to get your heart broken and just go through it and take it and use it as a tool to improve. And if you do that, you're going to be on the right track. Your young years are the years that you need to focus the most, and that's the main takeaway from this video. I hope this helped you guys improve in some way, and I really hope you listen to this advice because it literally changed my life. So good luck, guys. I'll see you in the next one.